Who is SDP for? What kind of people should come join or check out SDP?
Well, anyone who's really interested in decision making, if you feel somehow that maybe the choices you're making for you or your organization or your family or whatever maybe aren't quite getting you where you need to go, or if you feel anxiety about decisions that you might be making, and if you want to stop second guessing yourself, this is the place.
Hi, Michelle Florendo here, and welcome to Ask a Decision Engineer. Listen in and find out how to untangle big decisions with less stress and more clarity. Welcome to episode 6 of season 6 of Ask a Decision Engineer, made possible in partnership with the Society of Decision Professionals. Have you ever wondered how some people consistently make better choices? This season, I've been talking to practitioners who've mastered the art and science of decision making, interviewing them at a recent conference where they gathered to share their insights. They told us about the tools and frameworks that help them cut through uncertainty, the surprising places these methods show up, and why they believe everyone could benefit from thinking more systematically about the choices we face. In this final episode of the season, I sit down with some of the leaders, past, present, and future, of the organization that brought all these decision experts together. We'll explore what's been driving this field forward for decades and where it's headed next. Because decisions we make today shape the world we'll live in tomorrow. To kick off this episode, here's Lindsay Oyola, incoming president for the Society of Decision Professionals, or SDP for short.
Lindsay Oyola, and I'm traveling in from Rio de Janeiro, where I've lived for the last year. And I've been a member of SDP for a number of years now, and I've been on the board the last 4 years, and I'm currently the president-elect coming in for 2025, 2026.
All right. And so I think you are the perfect person for me to ask, what is SDP?
SDP is an amazing society, absolutely amazing, but where we have people from all different industries. We have people that are consultants, we have people that are vendors, we have people that are in large corporate companies, we have people that practice individually, we have people from governments, from wildlife societies. But what brings it all together is that they're all helping practice how we make better decisions in all of the big decisions that we need to make, right? And everybody has small decisions, big decisions, complex ones, confusing ones, and some of those require lots of analytics. Some of those could require something pretty simple, just the ability to think through them though. So SDP is a society where we come together and take the time to be able to discuss, right, how we're making decisions, decision-making techniques, and share that and grow that thinking amongst not only people in the society, but bringing it out to everyone and anyone else that we can.
Okay. And can you tell me more about like the different types of programming that SDP puts on, or what are the different ways that people can engage?
Yeah, happily. So I think highlight is our annual conference every year, which we're here at right now. But in our annual conference, we have 3 days of generally lots and lots of different sessions that are oriented at very, very sometimes deep mathematical things, and sometimes very much around the behavioral and emotional side of decision making. So it's that ability to sit and think through, right, all of these different angles of it and hear from really true experts in their fields in those areas, and then also talk to other people that are practicing things and going through it. So one of them is our annual conference. We have webinars, at least one a month, going on globally to learn about new ideas and new things coming out. We also have had a mentoring program in the past that folks can get involved in. We have our chapters globally, and so chapters, depending on the area, may meet every month, maybe they meet every other month, and maybe sometimes they meet once a quarter, and they'll bring in different speakers, different activities to engage, and that just ability to come together as community.
How would you describe the types of people who join SDP?
Yeah, it's a wide range when you think about different types of people that join SDP. You have folks that are very, very advanced in their field and have been doing this for 40 some years. They could be professors, frankly, that also do quite a bit of consulting on the side. They could be consultants out there that are actually, some folks, that talk about game theory, right? And thinking through whether it's with governments or companies, those negotiations and what moves people could make and what they could end up doing and what do they value. And, so people doing all sorts of different types of activities that really help around decision making. You can have people that are, just in companies, right? And helping do this for commercial decisions, for capital investment decisions, for managing capital portfolios. Or again, we have folks in the fish and wildlife area or, resource boards places where they're trying to manage natural resources, understand patterns around water levels in lakes or streams, what's making fish spawn, what's happening to bunny populations, all sorts of different things, right? And so what I would say is that SDP is really a society where if you're involved in helping decision making happen, either by making decisions and being the decision maker, you can learn a lot about better decision making processes from other folks that are decision makers. Or if you're in the situation where you're in more of an analyst role, a data scientist role, a decision analyst, and maybe your title isn't decision analyst, maybe your title is accountant, I don't know, right? But if you are helping your organization use information to make decisions, that ability to talk to other people about how they do that and how they do that effectively and fast, right? Effectively has to be fast too, right? I mean, business keeps moving, we need to move quickly. So if you think about people across all these different types of areas, they're truly able to come in and learn something. So I feel like what's kind of neat about this is it can apply to so many different people in so many different areas.
Yeah. Lindsay highlighted how SDP brings together people from wildly different backgrounds, all learning from each other's approaches to decision making. What struck me was this idea of peer-to-peer learning across industries and roles. I wanted to dig deeper into what that community experience actually feels like and what happens when you're suddenly exposed to decision-making perspectives from fields you've never encountered before. Here's Sri Vaidyanathan from the SDP chapter in Houston.
I mean, it's so interesting because decision-making exists in so many different contexts, and I think that's why...
And they don't teach you this stuff. I mean, how many times have you been to a leadership... I mean, I've been a recipient of several leadership programs, all very good, but almost none taught me about how to be a better decision maker.
Yeah.
They teach you strategy, they teach you team building skills, leadership, employee performance, motivation, but, at the heart of a company is the quality of its decisions. And
Right.
It's rare.
The heart of leadership
exactly.
is the decisions that you make.
Absolutely. And until I got familiar with this concept, it's like, so that's a way to actually make a good decision. It's like you never get taught this, right?
What have you found helpful about this concept of decision quality?
Well, what I really find appealing is it's a structured way, but you can actually downsize it or upsize it, whichever way you want. I mean, if I'm about to take, let's say, counseling my daughter on what courses she needs to pick, I can use decision quality. At the same time, when I'm facilitating a strategic decision on, a whole process of how do we work on our strategy for a certain thing in the business, I can still apply it. What I find also that's very interesting is the little nuances, like concept of framing. How can you pick that and kind of use that? So it's not an all or nothing thing. It's not like a checkbook or a checklist, but it exposes you to many different concepts in psychology, the works of Kahneman and Tversky. It exposes you to mathematics, thinking about uncertainty, and this conference is all about AI. It's actually something that's got its wings in so many different areas. It's hard to box it. And you meet so many interesting people, people you would never meet if you're just in your company or in your function, and just being able to learn from what they do is just simply amazing. So it's got unmatched learning and networking opportunities, but networking not just in terms of coffee drinking, but like deep relationships that you form and people that are happy to help you out, if you have a problem. So I find the community aspect of it absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I found people here are really welcoming. But I want to hear more about the people. Like, what kind of people have you met? Like, different industries or different roles?
Oh, yeah, industries and roles. Industries that really employ decision quality, to do their work, because there's a lot of uncertainty. I'm talking about pharma, the government, energy, of course, is a big big contributor to this, but also, very interesting applications of decision quality in other spaces. I mean, like, for example, in water management. I mean, who would have thought, looking at that?
Yeah, like
or in
natural
the energy,
resources.
Yeah, natural resources, energy transition. But it's not just the industry part, right? But it's also the academic part. I mean, you get to meet like deep thinkers, professors from different universities that are either teaching decision quality or have had applications of it into software. We got to hear from a CEO of how they're using autonomous agents to change their work, and that's also decision quality. So it's the industry folks, but it's cross industry, but it's also like academia and other deep practitioners, coaches, anybody that's really interested in the science of decision making. It's that's the most appealing part, because normally you go to conferences and you kind of meet same kind of people, people who are doing your job function or slightly related or from your industry. That's great. I mean, that gives you a certain type of learning, but coming to conferences like this or being a part of the SDP expands your thinking well beyond kind of, your own space. And that makes you a very valuable, I mean, it's valuable for your personal learning, but you also get to bring back a lot to your work context.
Right.
Yeah.
Shree's enthusiasm for the cross-pollination of ideas really captures what makes SDP special. It's not just about the technical methods, but about expanding how we think. As I continued my conversations, I wanted to understand more about SDP's evolution and where this field is heading, especially as new technologies like AI are reshaping how we approach decision-making. Here's Ayas Radad, who you heard from in previous episodes and has served previously as a president of the Society of Decision Professionals.
Is there anything else that you would want to share with this audience?
What I would like to share is first gratitude to having been exposed to this field, but also gratitude to the community of decision professionals. Practically everyone I met in SDP had really manifest passion towards improving the quality of decisions in organizations and communities that they live in. And that really is what drove this society to be so durable over close to 30 years now, if not more. And that is really what the potential that I am extremely excited about, that we will continue to expand the tribe of those passionate quality decision-making professionals and people who are interested in the field, but not necessarily professionals per se. So in the past few years, the society decided to expand the umbrella and invite more of disciplines that support decision making, but not necessarily in the same way that decision professionals did, with the intent of sharpening our methods further, but also try to meld or join or integrate methods across disciplines for the same goal of improving quality decision making. And this is in one way also tied to the huge advances and very rapid pace of technology improvement, including AI and generative AI, that there are so many opportunities to improve not only the quality of decision making, but also the efficiency by which we reach such decisions to the level that I believe we can reach a lot more audiences and help more decisions being made with high quality. So there's a lot of potential, and we're going to need more than just the traditional decision professionals to get there. And this is where integrating data science and AI into our conference and talks and workshops had been amazingly flourishing in the past few years, and I'm extremely ecstatic about it.
Ayas spoke beautifully about SDP's potential to reach new audiences and integrate emerging technologies. But at its core, this field is still about something very human, helping people navigate the choices that shape their lives. I want to end this season by returning to that fundamental question: who is this really for? To answer that with his perspective, here's David Matheson, another former president of the Society of Decision Professionals.
Who is SDP for?
Well, anyone who's really interested in decision making. If you feel somehow that maybe the choices you're making for you or your organization or your family or whatever maybe aren't quite getting you where you need to go, or if you feel anxiety about decisions that you might be making, and if you want to stop second guessing yourself, this is the place. I mean, there are standards for this and a way to go. I met with an artist over here at Granville who described her process to me, which is she takes random brushstrokes with blindfolded, and then she takes off the blindfold and colors in the little spaces. And she's describing how life happens to you in different ways. And we got into a discussion about decision making. And here she is expressing herself through this crazy art and never thought about basic things like happiness is a decision, or what matters is how you respond to your circumstances and what choices you make given your circumstances, not actually what happens to you in a way. And it's very freeing to learn these things. And so this is a complete corner case. I mean, I don't think we make a living servicing artists, but I think this really is something for anybody who feels they want greater control over their future and wants to really step up to leading their own lives in a major way.
As I wrap up this season of Ask a Decision Engineer, I'm struck by how universal these challenges are. Whether you're that artist that David met in Granville making sense of random brushstrokes, or a corporate executive weighing strategic options, we're all trying to navigate uncertainty and make choices that align with what matters most to us. The Society of Decision Professionals has spent decades building a community around the idea that we don't have to figure this out alone, that there are frameworks, tools, and most importantly, people who can help us think more clearly about the decisions that shape our lives. Thanks for joining me this season, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for listening to the show. If you know of someone who might benefit from learning more about how to make good decisions, please send them a link to our website, poweredbydecisions.com/podcast. The website poweredbydecisions.com is also the place to go if you are interested in more resources on decision making or would like to submit a question to potentially be answered on a future episode. Again, this is Michelle Florendo from Ask a Decision Engineer. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.